apprenticeship program. I started back in April 2020. Currently working towards my commercial pilot's license. I chose Afta mainly because of their great reputation and their partnerships with the airlines, particularly with Ryanair. The reputation is second to none across the British Isles and in Europe. And that reputation with the airlines really stands to graduates moving forward afterwards. The instructors here are excellent. They have a vast amount of experience. It really shows, and it is very valuable to us as students, gaining that knowledge from them. That together with the varied fleet, we work from Cessna 172s, Piper Scenic 34 behind me, the Diamond 42, our UPRT is in the Slingsby. This varied modern fleet really stood out to me. Being on the Ryanair Network program, not only does it give us the advantage of being able to learn Ryanair SOPs and have a fast track recruitment process when we're finished, but during training, they speak to us regularly through their mentoring program. With a pilot here, based here in Cork, he speaks to us about day-to-day operations, regular flights throughout Europe, his experiences. Furthermore, we get regular calls as well with executives within Ryanair. They tell us how the company's getting on, what their plans are for the future, and how they plan on integrating us into that plan.
Our Ab Initio mentoring program is designed for aspiring commercial pilots with no previous flight experience. Successful applicants will train on a structured path for an intensive 16 to 18 months, undertaking 220 hours of flight instruction at Cork International Airport in our modern fleet of aircraft and simulator fleet, such as our Diamond DA-42 and fixed-base Boeing 737-800 Next Generation Simulator. Candidates with more flight experience may join the Ryanair Mentor Program through one of the designated gateways, where they will continue with the more advanced modules of flight training. On successful completion of the Ryanair Mentor Program and a final Ryanair assessment, the new pilots will be offered a place on a Ryanair Boeing 737 type rating course.
This is happening now. This program has been in existence for the last couple of years. It's tried and tested, it's working, it's operational at all levels. We've had people who have started, completed their training, are now flying with Ryanair, people who have come towards their end of their training here and will be joining Ryanair shortly as well too. This is the sure way into commercial aviation and particularly into flying with a very successful and very forward-thinking airline like Ryanair.
There is no better time. Contact us today and start your journey to becoming a Ryanair pilot with us here at Atlantic Flight Training Academy. We look forward to welcoming you soon.
Okay, so that's just a little bit of an overview on sort of the Ryanair Mentor Program. So just some of the reasons. What are the benefits if you do want to follow this type of program? Well, job security is one of them. As we've seen through the pandemic, the only person or only company investing in aircraft at the minute is Ryanair. So the 75 MAX aircraft arriving before the end of the year with options on another 200. And they're currently expanding and adding routes at the minute, whereas no other airline is. You've got a very stable roster once you're in there, so your career path, initially will be 5 days on, 4 days off for the rest of your career. And you'll get your roster, you know what you're doing a month in advance. There are no planned overnights, so wherever you're based, you'll be home every night. And you have great earning potential and great base opportunities all across Europe. The other great thing is the fastest time to command. So typically, up until sort of the Ryanair way of doing things came about, it would be in Aer Lingus 10 to 12 years before you were in command. British Airways, it was 15 to 20 years before you got to sit in the left seat of a large commercial airliner. Now with Ryanair, you can be in that seat in 4 to 5 years. So, you can be commanding a large commercial airliner in sort of 4 years after you started your flying. They've got very good career progression opportunities, so there are a lot of other jobs within the airline. So even though you get into first officer and then you go captain, there's more to do. You can be base captain, director of flight operations, line trainer, synthetic flight instructor, so you can work in simulators, all that type of thing. And they've got a really good route structure across Europe, so the possibilities if you are based away, say in Eastern Europe or something like that, you can commute back to the job seats between base and home are free travel. So that just gives you an idea. If you start with say PPL with us, you can work your way ATPL, CPL, all the way up to maybe something like an unrestricted type rating examiner within the airline. Just an overview, you're probably familiar with this type of image. So 85 bases, 240 airports across Europe, 40 different countries with over 2,000 routes in operation. So how do I get onto something like a program or a full-time program? How do I know the career is right for me? How do I know what's ahead of me? Or how would I do once I get into the training? Well, what you do is you enroll for an assessment first of all. And the assessment is sort of 3 key steps for it. So the first one you do is an online test called CUT-E or CUTE. Okay? So it's a computer-based test that you can do at home. You do it over a couple of days, and it'll look at things like hand-eye coordination, multitasking, memory, a little bit of mental mathematics, and then it'll also look at a bit of psychometrics, so just how you deal with certain situations, what your interaction with people is, basically people skills, like that. So once you do that, then it comes out with a grading system with us. Once you reach or attain a certain grade, then we'll invite you to the next step, which is you'll come in and do a technical and HR interview. So that's normally in front of 2 people, one from sort of the flying side of things, a flight examiner, senior instructor, and one from HR. That interview takes about 30 to 40 minutes. It's not an easy interview, okay? So what it really is all about is you selling to us that this is something that you really want to do and that you have a passion for it, okay? So that's what the first sort of half of it's all about. So what we want to hear is that you're a real aerosexual, okay? That's what we want to know. So we want to know that you go out and you look at airplanes taking off and landing. We want to know that you're always watching air crash investigation, or you're always playing flight sim, all that type of stuff. That's the type of stuff that we really want to hear, because that means you're interested and passionate about the career ahead of you. So we cover that stuff. We do a little bit more questioning on people skills, and then we do that by putting you in some awkward situations and say, how would you deal with it? What is your thought processes? What are the goods and the bads? What are you looking out for? And then we'll say, can you apply any of that to real life experiences that you had based in work or playing as part of a team or in school or anything like that. We'll finish off that interview with asking you some basic questions of your knowledge on sort of engineering stuff, because these aircraft now, there's only 2 people sitting up the front. The third person is Don, the engineer. So, we have replaced that person with computers. Computers are great at telling you something's wrong, but they're not very good at fixing the problem. So that's down to the 2 people at the front. So you've got to have, and you will be taught some engineering background. But we want to know, have you some engineering, basic engineering foundation knowledge. So we'll ask you things about, engines or how an airplane works, or some basic stuff, just to see again what level of knowledge you have. And then we'll finish up with the bit that everybody hits is mental maths. So we'll ask you to do stuff, not like a piece of paper or a pencil, not like a calculator or a tablet or a phone. How to do some basic things like time, distance, speed calculations, things like that. Because if you look into the cockpit of an aircraft, it's all numbers, right? And it's all computers, and the computers are brilliant. Okay? They're very, very accurate. But unfortunately, the software was written by a human being, and we program it, and we're human beings as well. So we don't always get it right. So how do we check for mistakes? We do some mental calculations just to make sure things are going right, both before, during, and after the flight. So we want to see what your mental maths is like. The last bit of the 3 stages is to do a simulator check. So we'll put you in one of our twin engine simulators. We're not expecting you to be able to fly the aircraft. Okay? We teach you how to do that. What we're looking at are some key things. Number 1 is, are you comfortable in the cockpit of the aircraft? Number 2, how do you interact with an instructor, and how do you take instruction? How well do you take it? And then we also look for, what is your capacity to learn? So we'll teach you one thing, we'll get you doing it, and then we'll see how quickly we can teach you something else on top of that. And that gives us an idea how you would do through a full course. So what we do is then we take all three of those things and we look at it as a big picture and sort of say, if you were to start your flying career tomorrow, how would you do? Okay, and then we give you feedback on that or give you direction on the right course of training to get you through. So that's what the assessment's all about. That's one route through it, which is the integrated program I mentioned, the full-time course, 0 to hero in sort of 18 months. There is another route to it, which is a modular program, and that's a building block approach. So what you would start off with is something like the PBL,